Hello, beautiful people. So nice to see you again. It is Mindset Monday. Janelle Briggs here, and I want to talk this week about something that I have had to learn the hard way in my life, and that is about how to actually set healthy boundaries for your time, for your energy, with the people in your life, versus building up walls. So I've been a little bit slow getting back into the return to normal life now that the restrictions in Australia have started to ease. And I definitely have decided throughout this period, my biggest learning is that I need to protect my time and protect my energy, because the way I was living before, literally, I was totally overspent all the time and I was feeling drained. Right now, I feel energized, I feel grounded, I feel connected, and I don't want that feeling to go away. So I want to be able to make some changes, and I got to thinking, maybe, how are you guys doing? Do you want to make some changes in your life too? I'm assuming and I'm hoping that you do. You know, there is no right or wrong way to be able to move back into normal life after this isolation period. I really want to urge you to honor yourself and your feelings and how you're feeling. If you want to jump right in and start seeing 10 people, 5 people, whoever it is, then go for it. If you want to take a little bit more time and be a little bit more cautious, then that's totally fine as well. This is 100% up to you. This has been such a life-changing, really disruptive experience. Going back to the person that you were or the work environment that you were before, hopefully you can take some baby steps to feel it a little bit more comfortable. Setting healthy boundaries, I found, is a really great way to be able to really cap your time with people that perhaps trigger you. Now that we've had all this time apart, you may have been able to have some breathing space from those people in your life that perhaps push your buttons. I was working with a client this week and I was so proud of her. She has been amazing over the past couple of months, and she has realized that there is a person in her life that she is no longer really wanting to be aligned with, because she's noticing the behaviors and the patterns of behaviors that keep happening over and over again. And now she's been working on herself and they've had this time apart, she's starting to realize that, these behaviors would trigger hers in certain ways, and perhaps that friendship wasn't being met 50-50. So I helped her to understand what healthy boundaries are and what walls are. There's a big difference, and I'll go through that in a minute. But unless someone is meeting you 50-50, I believe, in a relationship, and you're getting an equal exchange for the amount of time and effort and energy that you put into that relationship, then either a conversation needs to be had with that person to let them know how you're feeling, or perhaps you can set a healthy boundary to be able to protect your energy. There's a few things in this video that I'm going to share that I've learned through the amazing work that I do with Al-Anon, which is an organization that helps the families and friends of alcoholics. And obviously when you're dealing with people with addiction or alcoholism, then you need to learn how to set healthy boundaries, as well as this concept of you are only ever responsible for what is inside your hula hoop, is what they say. What that means is basically that everyone is responsible for their own emotions, thoughts, and feelings, and that the people that we engage with, friends, family members, partners, that we have an understanding and we learn to understand that they are also responsible for their own feelings, thoughts, words, emotions. So what this means is that if we are only responsible for what's inside our hula hoop, you can physically imagine a hula hoop around, then when my hula hoop meets someone else's hula hoop, if they are moving into my hula hoop and we aren't meeting at a level that I feel comfortable with, then it's time for me to return the focus on me and stay within my hula hoop and let that other person deal with what they're going through and deal with what is inside their own hula hoop. So it's basically a way of looking at being responsible for yourself and taking personal empowerment in the things that you do, and having that other person be responsible to make their own mistakes and do the things that they need to do in their life to realize their behaviors have affected someone else. So I was really proud of this client, because when we went through this whole concept, she realized that there wasn't a fair and equal exchange happening, and she's decided to just let it run its course. Now that in itself is a healthy boundary. So I want to go into the difference between healthy boundaries and walls. Walls are basically solid and rigid. They keep others out, and sometimes they actually trap us inside as well, and we can begin to isolate. whereas boundaries are flexible. Boundaries are flexible, they're changeable, they're movable. So when you feel that that person's behavior has perhaps changed, then you don't have a wall blocking you between that person with any hostility. It's more about, I'm going to take some time out to work on me, and you can take some time out to work on you. And then we may come back together when I feel that we're at a good point to come back together. Because it's all about, this is what Al-Anon says, saying no with love instead of saying no with hostility and burning those bridges. So you know your own limits, and you can take care of yourself by respecting those limits. So healthy boundaries is about you respecting the things that you need to protect your time and energy, and leaving everything else up to the other person to deal with in their own hula hoop. I hope that all makes sense. So perhaps this week, it's a really good time to start a little bit of reflection on the people in your life, perhaps that you haven't seen for a while, and making, I guess, a bit of an assessment about how you want that friendship, that relationship, whether it's someone in your family, to be moving forward. And that may mean you want to take some baby steps. You don't necessarily want to jump all in and start throwing parties with every single person that you know. You may, and that's okay. It's however you want to do it. But if you have people in your life that perhaps trigger you, or that you feel maybe are going through some stuff and some problems and you tend to get dragged through it, that can happen a lot, then perhaps it's time for you to set a healthy boundary. And maybe this week, taking some time to think about what that healthy boundary would look like is a really good place to start. Maybe a healthy boundary, the first step is just saying no. I need some more time. I want some more time to, come out of ISO in my own way. Maybe a healthy boundary is not taking a person's phone call after 7 or 8 o'clock at night. Maybe a healthy boundary is knowing that Sundays is your day and you won't be doing any work on Sundays. The lines have been so blurred in this whole ISO experience, where we are around our family 24/7. That's a connection that I don't really want to let go of, okay? However, I do need a little bit of me time. So a healthy boundary is Sunday afternoons is my filming time and asking my husband if I can just have some alone time to collect my thoughts and get things ready for the week ahead. That's a healthy boundary. That's me honoring myself, and letting him know that, not that I've got work to do, but it's about, in a kind way, coming to an agreement about things that I need and how I need to honor myself. So I hope that you got something out of that today. Please share, drop a comment below. If you know someone who needs to hear this message, tag them in the comments. I would love to have this message reach as many people as possible. If you are struggling with how to set a healthy boundary, perhaps send me a DM and I'll shoot you a message and we can get connected. And if you want to learn more about the products and programs that I offer, please click the link in my bio. I would love to share more with you, and I hope that you all have an amazing week.